Well, let me speak now, and I'm thinking about something. There are times when people, presume what I think. I mean, I've had this happen so many times in my life where I've had people just, you know, they just kind of think they know exactly what I'm thinking, exactly what I feel, and exactly what I believe. But in fact, they really don't know. They have not the slightest clue. It's always funny how people just, that's the problem with stereotypes. That's the problem with stereotyping. People look at you like they'll look at me and they see I'm black. And the first thought that occurs to them is, they start thinking whatever they were taught. I can go all the stuff that, we generally understand about people, what people are taught about black people. But it doesn't matter what you were taught. There's always that thing where people teach you. See, here's the thing. Any group that's not your group is always this really bad group of people. And thieves and then murderers and then liars and just all the bad things we can think of about people. And so people just see that. And so people talk to that. That when they're talking to me, they're really talking to that ideal that they have about me. They're not talking to me. They don't know me. They don't know the first thing about me. They have zero knowledge about me. And zero knowledge about black people. Really zero knowledge. Oh, they have tons of ideals about black people. They have tons of beliefs about black people. Very little knowledge. You don't know anything. And that's what's interesting. And I think that's true also about, when it comes to religious stuff, the whole believers and the atheist argument. What people always argue is stereotypes. Well, Christians are people who are gullible and they believe this, that, and the other thing, and they believe that God's. I listened to Bill Maher, for example. I watched that movie Religulous. I realized I actually didn't like that movie too much because it wasn't so much because I'm a believer and I don't, it's because the movie was just stupid. It was just playing with stereotypes. That's all. Bill Maher has no clue what religion is or what it is to be religious. He's never been religious, and I don't give a fuck if he went to church. Fuck whether he went to church or not. Fuck if his family had some sort of somewhat quasi-religion. You've never really been, like, really religious. You've never been. Because all you have to do is watch that movie, and it becomes clear in the first few minutes of it. The guy has no idea. All he do is just poke fun at people and people's beliefs, and try to make everybody seem stupid and dumb and ignorant. And you pick the people you think are the most bizarre, the most odd. If there are any intelligent people, out there, you're not going to pick them. It's just like when some people want to make black people look stupid. If you want to have an interview, you just pick the black people who you think most represent your stereotyped ideal. And then you can even put them in situations and make them look more like the stereotype ideal that you have about them. So when I get to thinking about people like Richard Dawkins, when I think he, when he was interviewing that Father George Coyne, he really, I think he had a hard time with him because this guy's very intelligent, very smart. He knows, he's very articulate. He knows what he's talking about. And I remember somebody was saying, well, Richard Dawkins owned him. He gets owned. That's bullshit. Richard Dawkins did not own this guy. That is such bullshit. It is such bullshit. But you know what? Dawkins supporters see exactly what they want to see. Just like Christopher Hitchens supporters see exactly what they want to see. They see Christopher Hitchens owning people, and Richard Dawkins owning people, and Sam Harris owning somebody, and none of them are owning anybody. You see what you want to see because it makes you feel good. He's basically validating your point of view. But the same thing happens with believers too. They always see that, that some atheist is getting owned. I mean, I've seen some of the videos. It's the same thing. It occurred to me. I was thinking about something today. I just want to talk about it. I'm a person who believes in God. And personally, I don't give a fuck if I'm the only person. Yes, I'm going to use profanity. I really don't give a fuck if I'm the only person on earth who believes in God. I don't care. I don't have to convert other people. I don't feel the need. Even if the Bible claims you must convert it, I don't feel the need to do it. You know, and people get to talking about, well, you can't just pick and choose. You know, who the fuck is telling me that, first of all? And what do you mean by pick and choose? See, stop and think for one moment. And it's something I've been thinking about. You know, if you live in any country, I don't care whether it's the United States, Canada, England, whatever, you know, do you obey every law? No. There is a kind of, I suppose, if you want to use that term, picking and choosing, but you don't really pick and choose. You just simply live your life and do what you have to do. Now, you don't go and look up in the rule book first before you get up, walk out your house and see exactly. You know, most of us are breaking some rule somewhere, and we always, you know, somebody point out that rule that you're breaking. You say, well, that doesn't really mean anything. Like, for example, if you're driving on the expressway, like, you know, here in Chicago, the speed limit on the expressway, depending on where you are. If you're on Lakeshore Drive, when I haven't driven in a while. I still have a driver's license, but I don't drive very often because I don't have a car. But when I drive on that highway, I admit I go faster than the speed because most people do. You know, on the expressway, you go, you know, faster than the speed limit. People do things. We all break rules. We break rules in our job. We break rules at work. We break rules in relationships. We don't stick and adhere to rules absolutely. Nobody does ever. So to expect Christians to stick to everything in here, I think that's a ridiculous demand. I think that's a ridiculous demand that if you don't stick to these rules 100%, then that means your religion is not valid. That means God doesn't exist. Is it? I mean, where do you, that's leaping a gap bigger than Evel Knievel would ever leap. Evel Knievel wouldn't even try to leap that gap. That's proof. That's proof that there's no God because I don't stick to every rule, because I won't stone somebody to death because they worked on the Sabbath, because I won't stone homosexuals to death or condemn homosexuals, or because I won't, you know, do certain things. You know, maybe I should be, you know, you say, well, you have to do everything. You have to obey every letter. And Jesus said you have to obey every, you know, I remember Sam Harris was saying that. But see, the thing is, these people set these high standards, and then they say, well, you can't reach these standards. That means your religion is not valid. But you can't do this. You know, I live according to my own philosophy. I create a philosophy that I can live with. My philosophy says live, love, learn. I fight if I have to defend myself and to protect people I love and care about. I do what I have to. I live by my own rules. Basically, many of the things that Jesus was teaching, especially what Jesus was teaching, you know, that's why I'm a Christian, was basically, he was teaching people to think for themselves. He wasn't saying, you know, don't think for yourself. I think people twist that. Now, people might say, well, oh, well, you got it right. I can just see Christopher Hitchens or Sam Harris told me. Well, that's not exactly, you know what, and that's not what believers, you know, you're gonna sit there and act like you're going to tell me what I believe. You have no clue what I believe. Except one thing is you're not listening to me, that's for sure. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You're hearing what you want to hear. You create the kind of believer that you can attack. But the kind of believer I am, you can't attack. You can't attack. You have to make me attackable. I'm not playing fair because I'm not following the absolute rules, so therefore, yeah, of course. Whatever. You create what you need to get through this. Whatever you need to get through this, that's what you're going to do. And that's how it works. I know. I know the game. I know exactly how it